Welcome to the Bloomberg Law Bankruptcy Review. I'm Lee Pacchia. I'm joined now by Bloomberg News Editor-at-Large Bill Rochelle. Unfortunately, I don't have a witty moniker for him today because my producer is out sick. Bill, thanks so much for coming in. 3 items to run through today. Busy week. Let's start off by taking another look at the Lehman Brothers case. We had an update earlier in the week on the Lehman Brothers and Barclays suit. What do you have for us there?
Well, I tell you, is it even going to be over at the trial level before I go on Social Security? I mean, I'm not so sure about that. You'll recall this was the trial where Lehman wanted to recover $11 billion from Barclays, saying that they took assets they shouldn't have when they purchased the brokerage business a week after bankruptcy in September of 2008. Well, that trial finally began in about April of last year. It ran about 8 months, not every day, obviously, but for 35 trial days. They had oral argument, I think, in October or November. The bankruptcy judge issued his opinion on liability in February, late February. He really basically decided that Lehman pretty much lost everything. The Lehman trustee for the broker and Barclays are going to have to trade some money, and Lehman too, for that matter. So the judge told him, listen, I have set out my parameters on who I think wins and loses on what. Now you all go down and put pencil to paper with some adding machines and put numbers on it. How many dollars go to whom, who pays it, stuff like that there. Because you can't have an appeal until you have a decision on the dollars and cents as well as the issue of liability. So
that's what we're waiting on now. What's the timing?
Yeah, they're stuck. Well, I mean, God only knows.
Why is it taking so long? Is it just the complexity?
There's a lot of money involved, and everybody is really uptight about it. They're really fighting like cats and dogs. Everybody is very annoyed. Barclays thinks it shouldn't have been sued in the first place. Barclays thinks it didn't get enough at the closing. I mean, this is just a classic demonstration of what lawyers do when they go wild and have unlimited budgets. Right. So I don't really, frankly, see the end in sight yet. The judge said he was going to think about it and bring them back to court in a few days and then decide where they go from here. But, one of these days this thing is going to have to get over with. And I just really feel sorry for the appellate judges, because if they have to review also this complicated accounting problem, my Lord, they're going to go nuts. They're going to think everybody dropped the ball in the bankruptcy court. Right. They should have at least come to terms on what the dollars and cents are.
Lots of complexity, lots of animosity. Let's talk about the Howrey case. Looks like a law firm has gone quietly into the night. Howrey has converted to a Chapter 7.
One of the parts of my job that I dislike is when I have to write an obituary, and we're writing the obituary for the Howrey firm. They went out of business in March, and you're kind of always hoping that a law firm will be able to close up its shop without going through bankruptcy. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Somebody filed an involuntary petition against them out in San Francisco, and they responded by saying that San Francisco isn't the place. It really ought to be in Washington or perhaps in Alexandria, Virginia. And this is a very venerable law firm. I remember when I was in law school in the first few years afterwards, there was no better firm on earth than Howrey and Simon when it came to antitrust. But, of course, antitrust has pretty much disappeared compared to what it was.
The practice has changed.
Yeah, it has. They tried to expand by bringing in other lawyers and other practices. They took on debt, and, that's a kiss of death for a law firm.
Finally, let's finish up with a peek at the Lenny Dykstra case. It seems to have gotten ugly fast. What's happened there?
I tell you, first you made me talk about Howrey, which is
right, this is a depressing episode, I have to say.
Lord of mercy, yes it is. Because there was no ball player I like to watch on the field any more than Lenny Dykstra, except with a possible exception of Mickey Mantle. Either of those guys, if you asked them, would run through a brick wall. He was the toughest guy on earth. He figured that he could accomplish anything on the field by dint of desire. And I'm afraid that when he went out of baseball into the business world, he thought he could do the same thing. But his companies and he end up in bankruptcy. And the guy is taking the position that his companies were actually very valuable and not bankrupt, even though he and they are in bankruptcy. Where he gets that from, I'm really not sure. He thought there was a conspiracy and says there was a conspiracy among the bankruptcy lawyers and everybody involved in his case. So this is really very sad to see something happen like this to somebody who was very prominent and now is just doing things that don't, frankly, make a lot of sense. And he's indicted. Mm-hmm. You know, he was in bankruptcy. His house went to his bankruptcy trustee, the contents, but the trustee says that he sold about $400,000 worth of material in the house and
that's a
put
no-no.
it in his own pocket. You don't do that.
Right.
You know, you don't steal from your bankruptcy trustee. Very sad.
So, all right, well, we'll have to see how it plays out. Bill, thanks so much for stopping by. That's Bill Rochelle. He's a columnist here at Bloomberg News. If you'd like to learn more about the cases or issues we just discussed, go check out Bill's column and also our daily podcast. Both are available on BloombergLaw.com and also on the Bloomberg Terminal. Thanks for watching.